So I had to think of a topic that Amon could he seemed very passionate about concerning Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose getting back together,
Oh
and
my God.
also this could also go to Scottie Pippen and his guilt. So I guess
This guy said Gil.
bro, come on. Okay,
You're not
so
lying.
I said, which sex consistently makes the dating pool toxic?
Yeah, I think the genders kind of have an equal part in, kind of messing up the game for the rest of the people, for everyone else. I mean, on one hand, when you have dudes like Scotty and Wiz Khalifa over here,
Giving these hoes hope.
yeah, given and Russell Wilson, when you have dudes like that, pretty much over here trying to rehabilitate hoes, you kind of set a bad example.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So
No, continue.
you pretty much set a bad example for not only young men but also for young women. You kind of normalize certain behaviors and make certain behaviors okay for you kind of like, for instance, here you had him getting back with Amber Rose, and I have to double check and make sure this is legit, but apparently he got back together. Now this woman is the same woman who kind of ran his name in the mud, even though I know they had a kid together, but it's just not a good look when you kind of go back to your ex, and we talked about that on the last show. It's just not a good look, especially after she's kind of low-key dissed you and all that stuff. It makes you look weak, especially with now Scottie Pippen is just beyond me. Like, I mean, here you have his ex-wife. It needs to be his ex-wife, but they're still married. His wife, who was cheating on him with Future, didn't try and hide it. Didn't even mind. She's been seen taking pictures at the dude's house, going live at the dude's house, and then Scotty comes back and gives her a ring. So it's just really a bad look when you have a male who has a lot of money, a lot of prominence, a lot of fame, a lot of power, and here he is pretty much begging for scraps when he could have pretty much any female he wanted, but instead he chooses to go back to a female who openly cheated on him. So now he's pretty much in an open relationship, even if he doesn't accept it. So it's just a bad look.
Well,
so
I just
think
want
it's
to
like
ask.
50-50.
Yeah, I agree, kind of, but I just want to add that. Okay, I could definitely see somebody saying that Amber Rose is a slut and everything, because she even says that she is, but I don't think that Sierra is, and just because somebody, I mean, what makes you think that she is, or that Russell Wilson is, like, I guess, I don't know. I don't see anything negative about them being together, and I don't think that she doesn't seem like somebody who has been sleeping around or anything. I mean, there isn't anything that indicates that she has, really. So.
Well, okay. Well, I never really directly said she was a slut, but if you look at her dating history and look at the types of dudes she dated, I mean, in the past, she never dated a guy like Russell Wilson. So so now she's kind of settling for she wants the security now that she's older and she's not popping as much and she's not as hot, and dudes aren't checking for her now after dating like a whole string of kind of thuggish dudes like Future. She even had, I mean, come on, she named her kid Future. It's obvious that she likes the bad boys, but at this point they're not checking for her, so she kind of settled for Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson could do better,
a lot better.
Why do you say that?
He like I said, this is a man who he plays for the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
And, okay, so this is a guy who's relatively famous, very wealthy. People know his name. He could have any female he wanted, and he wouldn't have to. Now he's gonna excuse me, if you look now, you see that Sierra and Future have been in this like huge court battle, and you know, if he was with any other female, he wouldn't have to deal with that. So that's kind of one of the problems you get when you deal with a female who either previously has kids or previously, you know, mess with dudes, kind of thuggish dudes like Future. You have all the baby daddy drama, you have all this and this, so you know, he could easily get
Well, I
him
mean, he
another
was.
female who could, you know.
Well, I don't know. I don't. So you're saying that he could be with somebody better as far as like somebody who doesn't have children?
Less
Like
baggage.
that's the.
Way less.
Oh, okay. I
And less
see.
mileage.
Way less mileage. Like I said, if you look at her dating history, Future, didn't she date 50? Bow Wow. Now Bow Wow's not a
Maybe.
thug, but he's not a thug, but you know, he's a lot less
So that's three
lame.
people.
It's a lot more. I don't know her history like that. There's just like a few I can name off the top of my head, but
And Bow Wow was a has-been, so
no, but if you notice, the dudes that she dated in the past were never lame dudes like Russell. Russell is like a Christian dude talking about waiting before having sex before marriage, and it's just like the dude's like really, really, you know, religious. And here you have Sierra, who used to be wild. Like we all know Sierra, she's wild. So it's just a little bit crazy that now she's trying to settle. And I'm just saying Russell could do a lot better. So honestly, it's 50-50 for me.
Okay.
and though I may add, I have to add, nowadays you have a lot of Instagram models and dudes treat them they prop them up on the pedestal instead of treating them like regular women. And I think that is a problem.
That's a good point.
Okay. So,
I don't know. I don't see. I mean, I could understand somebody having a child as being baggage, but at the same time, I don't see that as being taking away your value, really, just because you have a child. But and just
When a
because you
woman has a
dated other
child-
people in the past, like
when a woman has a child, that child by nature becomes her number one priority.
you said, what?
When a woman has a child, that child by nature becomes her number one priority. So when you date a woman with a child, you're gonna have to always deal with being second. And a lot of dudes don't like that. And you really can't say anything bad about it. It's like, well, what are you supposed to say? Care about me more than your flesh and blood? Like, you know, that's not really how it works. And
But even if you have a child with him, like you're still gonna be, you know, more concerned with that child
but
than him, right?
but
So-
it's different then, because there's also many cases where, you know, if that's not your child she has, then she's not going to let you really be a full parent to that child. She's not going to let you
well,
discipline
some
him,
cases
raise
are like
voice
that.
at him. And again, you know, it's different being second to another man's child and being second to your child. And plus there's always that constant reminder of that's not my kid. So
Yeah, I mean, I think some cases are like that, but I feel like I mean, there are a lot of people who have been happy in those type of situations, and I don't think that like necessarily that a woman who doesn't have a kid is necessarily like has more value than one who happens to have one.
well, not
there's a lot-
naturally, but I feel like men put more value on them, because again, you know, then men are really territorial. It's like you really don't want to be reminded of the fact that you weren't there first, and
Right.
again, that's not my kid.
Right.
It's bothersome.
Mm.
Which
Okay.
again, it isn't really fair to the mother, because you know that's our flesh and blood. But it's definitely, you know, men would rather just steer clear of it than just being like, yo, I need more attention.
This video is brought to you by
'Cause then how's he gonna look?
Yeah.
Design your own custom snapbacks and
So-
hats.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. I think it might depend on the person, because it seems like there's a lot of men who have no problem, like, you know, with raising, you know, a stepchild. that do.
especially
But I
especially
just feel
younger
like,
dudes.
yeah,
Like younger dudes don't want to do that. Like if you're older, it's different. But like younger dudes still want to make their claim. Like they still want to, like like they still want their kids. Now when you're older, like 38 and up, it's different. It's like you're not really about to be popping them out like that anyway. So of course you're right that it's definitely different for different people, but I can definitely say that men generally value women without children more than women with children.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
on point.
That's pretty true.
All right, next topic.
Next topic: do black women really have a bad attitude?
Well, I think that yes, a lot of them do, and like a lot of people of various races have that there are people who have bad attitudes at every race, at every ethnicity, but yeah, there are seem like it's a lot of people who complain about black women having bad attitudes, like a lot more than other groups of people, and I think that there's some validity to it.
And I think you also have a point, because not all black women are like that. Well, majority of them aren't like that. You have your small percentage of them that may have bad attitudes, and then you have other races of women who have just as bad attitudes, when in reality you have a lot of more white women who have worse attitudes than black women out here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that too. If you look at these feminists, these white feminists, they are some of the nastiest, the meanest. I mean, you talk about nasty attitudes.
Yes.
The white feminists are nasty, man.
Yes.
And it's kind of crazy that this stereotype gets passed around. It's just been blown out of proportion, because I think every race in general has its its little group of women who have nasty attitudes. So I personally don't think it's necessarily just black women. I think it's every race of women. There's always that group in the race that has a bad attitude.
And then you also have different race of women who profit or get fame off of the stereotype that was propagated towards black women. It doesn't make any sense. Like the girl who was just on Dr. Phil not too long ago. She had the whole stereotype that she thought that all black women were ratchet, crazy, had bad attitudes, which is not true. And she got famous. She got rich.
Great. Okay, so next topic, the heated topic, or usually heated. This has been a pretty chill show so far. Should you wait for sex before marriage?
I'll take this one.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'll take this one. I will take
How
this
y'all
one.
gonna be quiet and then try and talk at the same?
Because I was trying to be polite, man.
Exactly. I was trying to gather my thoughts, man.
Okay,
All
go
right, go
ahead.
Me personally, since I'm not a Christian and I have different beliefs, no. And plus, the way society has pretty much stereotyped men for waiting for sex until marriage, it made them more of the more less desirable ones, because if men wait for sex, they kind of become undesirables at that point, and then they get teased, they get made fun of. People even question their sexuality. So me personally, no. I mean, on the other hand, you have women that say they want to wait until marriage. They're fine with being virgins. People hold them, and people pretty much say that's okay and all types of stuff. Like, I don't know. Me personally, I don't think so.
Okay, Emma.
All right, well, to get really deep into this, we have to break it down by gender, and we have to talk about the fact that number one, marriage is a human construct. Number two, virginity is a construct in its form, in the way we talk about it now. And with that in mind, we pretty much have to ask, who benefits more from, the male or the female waiting for sex before marriage? Because from the male's perspective, if a female has waited before, having sex before marriage or after marriage, then that pretty much makes her the pristine virgin. It makes her valuable because, you're the first one to touch her. But as a guy, a lot of women say that they want to be, they don't mind a guy being a virgin, but I'm not too necessarily convinced on that. I think it varies from like religious belief to cultural background, because some cultures don't care, some religions don't care. It just really depends. So personally, in my opinion, I think you should probably not wait, because you want to see, because the thing about it is a lot of divorces happen because people find out they're sexually incompatible only after they get married and have sex. So that's why a lot of divorces happen, because you may want it 3 times a week, she may want it once, or she may want it 5 times a week, you may only want it 1 time. It just depends on your drive, and you can't really figure that out unless
but is
you
that a reason to ruin a relationship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Oh yes, I've seen plenty disintegrate. Yeah, I've seen. Well, for guys, it's usually a deal breaker for the guys, because let's be honest, we tend to want it more. So I mean, women can go without it, but we tend to want it more. So I've seen plenty of relationships and marriages just disintegrate just because of a lack of sexual
incompatibility.
Yeah, just like that, gone. So I think you should probably, experiment just to make sure you guys match together before you sign that contract. So.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I personally think that it's a good idea to if you may not even want to wait until marriage, but at least wait until you feel like you are committed to somebody. I don't think that people should just go around, having sex with a bunch of different partners, like, to see. Because are we saying just in general, just wait to have sex, or just if you're in a relationship, should you two in a relationship wait?
Well, the question was, should you wait for sex before marriage? So
are you saying, do you think that what people should casually have sex before they get married, or should they wait until they're in a committed relationship and then, if they feel like they're in a committed relationship, then have sex with that person, and then if they see that, things are going to, if they're in a relationship with a person who they can see themselves marrying? Or are you just saying, casual sex is fine, like with whoever?
I mean, if you're vibing with the person, I don't know any dude who's gonna wait, a few weeks or 5 weeks to wait and see where the relationship is going before, having sex. I really can't think of any guy. I mean, there might be some out there, but I don't know. So if you're vibing, like the first maybe
3 days.
Not 3 days. I don't know. Like maybe the first few dates, if you're vibing and you guys are clicking, then yeah, definitely go for it. And if you're serious about it, and this is someone that you can see yourself not marrying yet, but this is someone you can see yourself having an LTR with, then yeah, definitely go for it. Experiment, see if you'll work. Because it's just not a good idea to wait too long. So,
and can you tell me what LTR is? I have no clue.
Oh, that's
long-term relationship.
Oh, okay, I see. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really not an advocate of people just like going around having sex because there's so many, especially in the black community, it's way too many children who don't have a stable home life because, their parents aren't together or, they might not have a father or their mother is, their mother doesn't have it together. And so because the child wasn't planned. It's just there's so many issues that I think start with people just irresponsibly having sex. I don't like the idea of it, and so I really do think that it's important for people to. I don't know how is at this point of this society is so like over sexualized that it's hard for people sometimes to not think about it or to it's hard for people to control themselves these days. But yeah, I really do not see the benefit of rushing into having sex. So, like, be sexually compatible. Like, I could see, like you said, if you're in a committed relationship, I could see you having sex with that person to see, I guess, if you're compatible. But even then, it's like it's gonna be different once you're married. Like, once you're married, you might change and you might end up not wanting to. That happens a lot when people get married. They end up not doing it so much. And so I feel like you doing it before marriage, it's not really going to give you a good idea of how things are going to be once you get married. It might give you a little idea, but it's not. Things are going to change. And so I really don't see the benefit of people, black people especially, having casual sex. Like, I don't think that it's beneficial to the community
But we have
at
to,
all, or people on a personal level.
but I think we have to understand that sometimes physical attractions can't be helped.
Yes, it can.
Look, man. Let me go ahead and start now. So if or whenever I have children, then I'd tell them to wait till marriage. I don't really expect them to do it, but from my at least I tell my son to wait because, in all honesty, I believe that I don't believe males should be sexually active until they're at least 16. Like, not even 16, at least until they're out of high school, because that's a little bit too critical of a time to be getting caught up with females. So
Right.
I don't think that's necessary. And then if I have a daughter, I hope not. I definitely be like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I can't deal with females are so hard to raise, but I'm a firm believer in that the most powerful drug for a female isn't meth or crack, it's dick. And
wow.
I don't like, honestly, I feel like sex is almost such a trivial thing to have your life ruined over or have obstacles in your life. Because I promise you, bro, going through high school and middle school and even elementary school, like, dudes get so caught up in females. Oh my god. I mean, like Amon, I told you about a classmate I told you too, Darius. And honestly, like, she was cool and all. I felt sorry for her because her boyfriend killed himself, and I got kind of kept in contact with her because I was being nice, uncharacteristically so. And I've just been watching her life slowly unfold on Facebook because she's like with this dude and like he cheats on her all the time and he's gotten her pregnant, and then like she lied and said that she aborted the baby to get back at him, and I'm like, yo, that's so petty. But then she came out and said, yo, I didn't really abort the baby. I was just really mad at him. And then she actually aborted the baby. And I'm just like, yo. And like they go through so many ups and downs. And
She's
it's so
putting
crazy.
all this on Facebook? Wow.
Yeah. She's like, she's not too bright, but I mean, actually she's actually really smart, but she's just like socially inept, But
So she's socially retarded.
Possibly,
basically.
yeah. Like literally, because I mean, she just does so much stuff. But I'm just sitting back watching, and I'm just like, this dude does nothing but like mess up her life. This man does nothing but cheat, drink, and smoke, and
Mhm.
she's still with him every couple weeks, talking about some. Oh man, I love Tony. Oops. Well, I love him. I love him, and I'm just like, yo, she's insane. But
That's his name, Tony.
yeah, and like,
Ooh, that is the worst name.
it's not the worst name.
Every man with that name, I swear, they are like good for nothing. But anyway.
So, and I'm just watching it unfold because, you know, I'm guilty. I find a lot of entertainment out of it because it's like a live soap opera. But I'm just like, yo, she's literally ruining her life for dick. This is amazing. Like this is like a less sad version of watching a crack addict. But it's not even her. I went to school with so many females like that. Like I've seen dick ruin lives since 7th grade. Like, oh my god. And also Miles in the background dying. I don't know. I couldn't have sex ruin a relationship for me because I think I get it from like my mom and my dad. Like it's a miracle I'm alive because they both like my dad doesn't have a sex drive, like, and like my mom has some type of chemical imbalance or something. I don't know, but both of them really don't have a high.
You said your dad doesn't have a sex drive?
Yeah, I literally don't think he has a sex drive. Like I'm his only child.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's had like 45 years to have children, and he doesn't even really date. And I know he's not gay. And so I'm just like, this man just I don't know what's up with him. But I'm like, I personally don't have a really high sex drive. Like, I don't even really fall for like traps with females like that. Like, honestly, it's not even that critical, in my opinion, because there's so many things that I get more enjoyment out of than sex, and it's just like, you know, what's the hype about?
Yeah,
so,
and that.
Okay.
Like,
that's why I say.
Okay, for you, maybe it's not something that you need so much, but even for
people there are, and that's why I tell them to wait. That's why I tell them to wait. It's like I don't want to have the offshoot chance to mess up and get addicted, literally, and you know. And then dudes already put so much value on pussy. I really don't understand it. I don't get it.
They did it to the point to where they would even kill over it.
They will kill women. They will kill children. They will kill themselves. And I'm like, it's not that serious. I promise.
It's not at all. It's definitely not.
That's why. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a severe lack of self-discipline, and not only in the Black community, but in Western society as a whole. And I think that lack of self-discipline is really starting to become more apparent to people, and that's why you see so many people going out the country to more Eastern, less individualistic societies to find, partners. So.
Yeah, you made a good point though, but we never really mentioned at what age, as we're having this conversation. That's why I really recommend, and I've already told my brothers to like wait until after 25 to even think about marriage or even come across that prospect. So that way, because you said a lot of the traps that guys fall for is like age 16 to 25, and that's not by accident, because at those levels 16 is when your testosterone first appears and 25 is when it peaks and starts going down. So that's when you really start falling for the traps, getting women pregnant and, not
even caring.
Yeah, not caring. So
Exactly.
If you wait until after 25 before you start, experimenting to, get married, then it's okay because you're more level-headed and you're more balanced. That way you can actually you're not as pressed. That's the best way to put it. You're not pressed. That way you can make sound decisions, without being thirsty.
Under pressure.
Yeah, under pressure and all that. So that's why I don't even recommend. I tell people you should even have a girlfriend until after 25. Let alone think about marriage or any of that.
Didn't you tell Aunt that once?
Yeah, I tell all the guys I know that you shouldn't even be worrying about women. You should be worrying about establishing yourself. Use that testosterone to move your education ahead. Use that as that's your drive. Use that for something positive. Don't even worry. You'll have plenty of time to do everything you want to.
And then like
Women and all that. So because you'll get messed up messing women from like 16 to 24.
I tell people like I tell females all the time, at least whenever I go on a date, because I usually ask like, yo, like, what is your past relationship like? Even though people get uncomfortable when they ask that question, it's like, no, I want to see like what's going on with you. But I tell people like I've never had a serious, what I would consider a serious relationship with anybody, because I've never taken it seriously. Like, because it's not serious. You're in high school. You're in middle school. Like, the chances of y'all, there's like a statistic, and I'm a product of that statistic, is that like only like it was either like one fourth or 1/5 of all couples in high school actually make it past high school, and like even less of them end up married. And so like that's just like I don't think this makes sense to be getting too heavily involved, physically, even if you want to go there, spiritually and even financially, in like females when you're like really young, unless you're like, yo, this can work. This can practically work. Besides that, because these days the relationships are expensive, in all honesty. Like,
Yep, that's another thing too. When you're young, you don't have money like that. You telling them.
Right.
Wait.
Just wait.
Okay.
So now it's time to go into Negro speak, and this topic: can you be for your people, so pro-black, conscious, pan-Africanist, hotep, whatever you want to say, and still listen to ignorant music? I say yes, because I listen to ignorant music.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with listening to it. You know what I mean? Because you have to have that balance.
Yeah.
I don't judge people based off what the music that they listen to. If they're down to help, or if they're down to make a change, or if they're for their people and for the cause, then so be it. We're gonna need all the help we can get. And organizers don't judge people and be like, "Oh, you're not conscious. You're not fully pro-black. We don't need you. We don't need people who listen to trap music or eat ham hocks or chicken, who are not vegan." All types of dumb shit to keep people from organizing and coming together as a collective group so we can change the predicament that we're in now. Organizers don't do that. They organize. You hear what the Marines say. We don't need all this pro-black militant bullshit. All we need is a few good people who are willing to make a change.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I would say, I don't want to say yes or no. I would just say it depends on how much of the content you're taking in, because music doesn't really directly influence you, but it can have an effect on your mood, and it can have an effect on your emotions to a degree.
I'll tell you
this.
Right now on my phone, I have all of Lupe's albums. But I have some Smashing Pumpkins, I have some Stone Temple Pilots, and I also have 5 3 6 Mafia albums, 3 Project Pat albums, 1 Bun B album, or what's UGK. I mean, like, Open Mic, Eagle Light. I have like all types of music in varying degrees of violence. Lil Ugly Mane, Cheddar Club Thugs.
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is that if your foundation is stable, then you should have no problem listening to that type of music.
And it also depends on it depends on the quality as well. If they have good quality music and your foundation is pretty much set, then you should be fine. As long as the quality is good.
And as long as you know that this is just temporary, And this is, I mean, if you're not listening to it all day, every day, because I know some people who just run around bump into ignorant music all day, and they're not doing anything to, you know, benefit their surroundings. But it like policing people on their music is just not. It's just not that big of a deal, like I said, because music doesn't really directly influence you. Like, music can't make you kill people. Music can't drive you. Like, 'cause, yeah, people act like music can make you pick up a gun and shoot people. That's one of the things that white parents say, that's why they don't want their kids listening to rap music, because it makes you kill people. It's not true. So by that, you know, with that in mind, you can listen to ignorant music and be pro-black as long as you have that stable foundation, that you realize that this is just music, and you don't, you know, if you don't act on it, then it's fine. No problem with it.
Right.
Casey is like, I completely disagree. You need to listen to Jade, Shawnee's, Jodeci, Genuine, and TLC.
Yeah, so what do you think about that?
Why do you
Boys to
think?
Men. Keith
Smokey Robinson.
He said Smokey Robinson.
Belleville the Bowl.
This man, Aaron Hall.
LSG, Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat.
Chaka
All
Khan.
types.
Anyway, stop roasting.
Casey and JoJo.
Yeah. All right, so Casey, what do you think about this, man?
Well, I do really like R&B, and I do both. But okay, yeah, you're kind of right. I do disagree a little bit. Definitely, you know, care about your people and help, and you know, do what you need to do to help them and everything. Like, you can be pro-black and listen to ratchet music or watch, you know, Love and Hip Hop or whatever. But I don't get why you would. Like, I don't understand why.
Right.
Yeah, like, if there's a lot of music that when I was a kid, like, when I was a kid, I would listen to and watch anything, and like, I didn't have the type of like parental guidance to where it was, you know, so like, oh, you can't look at this, or like, we just would listen to and watch whatever. And so, you know, a lot of the songs and things that I used to watch when I was a kid, or listen to when I was a kid, I'll find myself, you know, trying to listen to that stuff again, just like kind of for nostalgia factors. And I can't even listen to it because the stuff that they're saying will be so ignorant, and it'll be stuff that I don't agree with today at all. And so if there's something like, for instance, if there are songs where they are, I don't know, like being really misogynistic, or, you know, they're talking about, a lot of rap songs these days that talk about how great, how much better looking lighter skinned women are than darker skinned women. Or I don't know if it's a lot of songs that do that, but I've heard it before in music. And so it's like, how could you to that and then have a completely different, and not believe in those things? Like, why would you want to? And I think it was Iman who said that they, you know, the stuff doesn't, it sounded like you said that it can affect you, but not really. Like, it can make you do things.
Yeah, like it won't make you kill people, but it can have like an effect on your mood. Like, for instance, when you hear sad music, it kind of, you know, it kind of dampens your mood and makes you a little bit, you know, somber, but it can't really like make you cry. I mean, some songs can, but yeah, I would just mean like, it just can't control you to the point where you pick up a gun and shoot someone or go sell dope.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Right. Well, I really don't know about that, because I don't know if that's true or not, only because I feel like there is a reason why. I mean, I guess it's a kind of conspiracy type of thing, because I kind of believe that certain type of music is purposely put in the Black community, like, it's, you know, as far as the hood and everything, the type of music that they listen to, and that the Black youth that it's geared toward the Black youth. I think that it's geared toward them for a reason, and I think that it's to get them to I guess worry about the type of things that kind of dumb them down, like partying, drinking, drugs. And I think that the more that they listen to sex and the more that they listen to things like that, that's what their mind is on, and so that's what they do. And so I kind of do think that it influences their actions. And because I've always been a firm believer that the entertainment influences people. I think that's why, even with advertisements, that's why they spend, millions, billions of dollars on advertisements, because they know the more that you see something, the more that you hear it, it's going to do something to you. It's going to have you thinking, hey, yeah, maybe I should go to this. You may not have even wanted, McDonald's, but you might have, some ad that you saw earlier in the day might still be stuck in your head and might make you, want to go there all of a sudden on impulse. Like there's things like that I think that those things are a possibility. I think that does happen. So I feel like you can be pro-Black in everything, and listen to ratchet music and watch ratchet entertainment, but I don't think that it's a good idea. I think it's counterproductive, pretty much. Well, and in any way, why would you want to even what's the word I'm looking for? Like, why would you want to kind of give people who put that type of music and entertainment out there, why would you want to make them more successful?
Wait, hold up now, Casey.
Why?
Hold up. Black people don't buy music.
That's the
Black
first
people
thing.
do not buy music.
Okay,
That's the first thing.
Okay, and another thing I want to say.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, another thing I was going to say was
Okay, I'm just gonna say this real quick. We may not buy music, but we definitely I think that we're still responsible for making people popular. Like we use social media a lot. And social media is it's huge. It helps you to a lot of the people who Black people are like one of the main users of social media, and whoever we talk about is kind of who the world and media starts to look at, if that makes sense. So I think that we still have an influence, even though it's mostly white people who buy music.
Well, white people do kind of control hip hop now, so they control whatever artists put out,
right.
Whatever mainstream artists put out. I think we should be in full control of it, which is ours to begin with, because we created it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, all I was going to say, back to your point, Casey, was that in terms of ignorant music, there's levels to it. So there may, like, for instance, I listen to a lot of Currency, and Currency is pretty much harmless. Currency is just like a weed head. He talks about cars, women, and like weed, and I mean, it's pretty much one of the main rappers I listen to. Now, I don't listen to it all the time. It's kind of like my vice, because in real life, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any of that. So, like, his music is kind of my vice, because I listen to it every once in a while, and I don't listen to it frequently. So, like I said, there's levels to it. I mean, you have people like Currency, and then you have people like Lil Yachty. And then you have people like Young Thug, like you just have like ignorance levels. But because I have a solid foundation, like I know my history, I do a lot of research, I try and help out people as much as I can. I have a pretty solid foundation. So even as I listen to this, it doesn't really have an effect on me, because, I understand that at the end of the day that number one, this is to make money. They're doing this to make money. They don't even practice half of the stuff they say. And number two, well, I will give you that it does have a little bit of an effect on kids, but it's not the main effect, because there are other contributing factors that help kids pretty much practice and have a certain mindset. So it's not just music, it's the culture, it's the TV, it's the movies. So yeah, I guess if you have a foundation and a solid foundation, this and you listen to, and like I said, there's levels to it, so it shouldn't really have an adverse effect, like a serious adverse effect. It just shouldn't.
And also to add, if half of the artists really lived the life that they talked about in their songs, more than half would be dead right about now.
Yeah, or in jail, so you understand that it's entertainment. And like I said, I don't condone a lot of this stuff, but there are levels to it.
I am just kind of curious. So, how does that entertain you?
You mean like the music? Like the ignorant music?
Yeah. Like how
Well,
do you find that entertaining? Like the stuff that they talk about, what does that do for you?
not necessarily. Well, for me, like I said, I don't even listen to a lot of mainstream rap. I listen to a lot of underground rap. And like I said, Currency.
Listen to mainstream underground rap.
Nah, not really, because people really don't know Currency like that.
People
Like,
do know. He's one of those mainstream like Chance the Rapper. He's a mainstream underground rapper.
No, people really know about Chance. So,
Trash the Rapper.
Crit.
him. I can't even. Yeah, well, Crit. He's like halfway there. I can't even name a lot of the rap I listen to because I listen to it so infrequently. So, but for me, what it really is it's just the storytelling. Because even Currency himself, or a lot of the music I listen to, I pick it because the person is actually telling a story. Like, they're just not rapping the same word over a nice beat. Usually, it's a smooth beat, and he's really telling a story. So, and he sprinkles in like, you know, the money and cars, but it's just the way they present a certain type of story to you. That's just what it is. Yeah, that's just it for me.
I know that the vast majority of ignorant music I listen to, like, I'm gonna say 99% is revivalist Memphis underground music, and that's because I spent so much of my childhood in Memphis. And my stepdad, he was from Westwood, South Memphis, and so he played a lot of underground Memphis stuff, and so majority of the ignorant music I listen to is underground Memphis type stuff, and it has such a cult following at this point. It's almost become its own genre, and I follow it and I support these artists because in my opinion, you know, and people will debate about me. We'll debate about this all day long. I believe that Memphis and Texas are Southern music. Like, Atlanta is the city of fighters. I mean, to be honest here, the most original thing y'all have is Outkast. It's true.
We really gonna go through this again?
Literally everything from mumble rap to trap music was started by Memphis rappers, and this is a fact. They predate every Atlanta rapper. So I enjoy
it. That's a bad thing, isn't it?
It's a rap thing, but a bad thing? I don't know. I just grew up around the Memphis sound, and it was just simple. I think about my childhood when I listen to it, and a lot of it tends to be really dark and not just like I'll shoot a guy and take his necklace. It's like, no, like the first 3 6 Mafia album, they were like talking about killing people and sacrificing them to Satan. Like it's just it's crazy. And I like dark music, and I just enjoyed the darkness of it. And that 1% that isn't from Memphis or Memphis influence is Freddie Gibbs. And I wouldn't even say Freddie Gibbs is an ignorant artist, because he makes a lot of real music with like Madlib and Jay Electronica, and like when he's like what Young Jeezy tries to make himself seem to be. Actually, he was signed by Young Jeezy at one point. You know how Young Jeezy tries to be like I'm talking about the streets, and then I make a song like this is just storytelling. This isn't real. I'm doing this to tell people like there's more legitimate ways to do this. Like Freddie Gibbs actually does that. He's very lyrical, and he makes really dope songs, and he's really diverse. And he's like, Freddie Gibbs is a modern day street rapper the same way that 30 years ago like Cool Mo D was a street rapper. Like it's like, yo, this is kind of crazy, but it's some knowledge in there as well. And you know, he's from Gary, Indiana, so it's right by Chicago, so I have to support him.
So he has some balance in his music, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely balanced. It's never like, oh man, I'm gonna ride down on you and kill you, and while I'm killing you, I'm gonna have sex with your girlfriend. Like, it's nothing like that. It's like some real deal stuff. Like he'll talk about a crime that's being committed, but then he'll also talk about how the family has fared since the man has gone to crime. I mean, has gone to prison. So it's really a lot. It's a lot broad, a lot more detailed, and a lot more introspective. And really, it's intelligent. I really like his perspective on things, and he's a cool dude. But besides that, like a lot of ignorant music, I really can't justify people listening to. I don't know why you listen to Lil Yachty, because it's just terrible.
Exactly.
I don't know why you listen.
Lil Yachty is trash. Kodak Black is trash.
Like these people, I don't get it. Like, there's no reason to listen to them besides to be trendy, because you want to listen to them because they, because they're kind of street. Well, there's way more street rappers.
Oh, come on. These dudes aren't street. Are you serious? Young Thug paints his nails and jumps rope. What do you mean street?
Exactly.
I can understand a little bit of why somebody might be drawn into that type of music. Because the beats. One thing is the beats
aren't
really
even that good. The beats aren't that good. I'm gonna be honest.
Beats aren't really that good, unless it's Metro Boomin.
These are Fruity Loop 2012 beats that they keep recycling.
I mean, I don't know those people's music, but all I know is like when I turn to the rap stations and I hear like that type of music, the beats are good. Like I always wish that the conscious. I don't know if I might have already said this on the first show, but I always wish that the conscious rappers would, use those same beats. I don't get why their beats are always like so
Lupe
like common. Like his beats are always so. Huh?
Lupe uses those beats.
Lupe uses those beats.
Does? Oh, well,
he just did.
Oh, I wouldn't know, but
Crit uses
like,
those beats.
Oh, he does?
Well, not a lot, not often, but he does.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just feel like they don't. The beats that they use to be so like boring and just like generic
like
sounding.
A saxophone and a drum.
Yeah,
and like
it's
some
just
random woman screaming in the background.
He was like the type of music you go to listen to in like a lounge or something.
Like jazz, basically.
Yeah, I think that I wish that the beats were more ratchet on the conscious rappers.
Casey said she wished the beats didn't sound like elevator music.
Correct, pretty much.
So, okay, so the next topic is are blacks as a community worth saving?
Ooh.
Worth saving?
Yeah,
it's worth it, but I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen. Like if it's a lost cause at this point, but that's definitely. I mean, we're worth it.
If there weren't so many coons, yeah, it would be. But our future is looking very bleak right about now. I just don't really know. I don't know.
Come on now. If me and a couple of my cousins could get control of 100,000 black people, oh my God, it'd be so over. Because like there's so many fraudulent things that are basically legal that you could do to get money. It makes no sense. But you also need some seed money to do those fraudulent things. I mean, come on. Donald Trump basically lied and said he lost. He didn't even lie. He misplaced almost $1 billion in assets to make it seem like he lost money in 1 year so he wouldn't have to pay taxes for like 20 years. That's illegal.
Yeah.
But that's smart.
Yeah.
People be like, oh,
that's very smart.
That's terrible. It's like, no. We all need to find out about how to do this. We need to find these loopholes and take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Because, people always make it seem like, it's so impossible for black people to get ahead. It's really not. It's not as bad as people think it is. It can be done.
And we could be a Black Wall Street overnight.
But at this point, it's like black people know what to do. We've known what to do for like literally 100 years. Because Marcus Garvey was that was 100 years ago. So we've known what to do. As each year
Mhm.
grows and as our spending power increases, we become more capable to do these things. But we choose not to do these things because, we've been taught that if we fail, then it's just over. But in reality, like if we fail, a lot of us might get messed up, but we still have a chance to try again. We're not just
Yep.
gonna be,
Right.
people really think like the reason why racism is so aggressive today is because white supremacists don't have as much control over society as they once did. So they have to ramp it up a lot more so people will stay in their place because we're increasingly becoming a global society, and
Mm.
nobody likes genocide. Nobody likes casual killing. So as as white people increasingly become more and more guilty of themselves, and as black people continue to do nothing for whatever reason, our chance,
No.
this is a really good chance for us to really, as a community, rise up. But that's not going to happen. So I tell people this: get you a nice group of cool people and friends, and get some money. You trust each other.
Right.
Pool your resources and just find something to invest in, and just build off of that, and take care of that of the circle and the circle's family. And when that's really all I can tell people right now. We need to build a more forgiving, or I don't want to use the word conscious, not like conscious hotep, but as in like what the word conscious really means, as in aware. We need to start building a more conscious black upper class, so at least we'd have some type of some money to even do stuff with.
Right.
So because I feel like trickle down economics doesn't work for white people because they're super greedy. But I feel like if you have a conscious black upper class, and trickle down economics just might work.
Right.
Oh yeah, Chris. Sorry about earlier.
What?
I was kind of in the middle of playing this game, and I
Oh,
got to
okay.
turn over. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm coding right now.
A game? That's what you're doing? I thought maybe it was a dog or something. You were like trying to get them to get out the room or something. That's what it sounded like.
No.
Well, I think that yeah, like you said, Chris, we really have known what to do for a really long time. I think that the reason why people don't do it is because when we do fail, like when, okay, for instance, you were talking about Marcus Garvey. Well, we all know what happened with him. He was framed of mailing fraud,
Mail.
and then sent back to Jamaica.
Yep.
So, and it was something that he didn't do, right? Like he was supposedly innocent or whatever it was that they were
But
accusing him of.
what
Right.
what Garvey failed at is because when he left, the movement fell apart. It didn't fall apart. It had a civil war. And what Garvis didn't do entirely, or not correctly enough, he didn't have a successor for the UNIA, because
Yeah, that's a great point.
Very
there
great
needs to
point.
be clear leadership. Do you know why the most militarily advanced nation in human history has been having trouble beating people in caves? It's because when you kill one of their leader, 10 more pop up, and nobody questions these 10 new leaders because all of them know what to do.
No,
That's the problem with
yeah.
the black society. We have to be like terrorists. That sounds terrible.
Well, it's
Right.
it's not that the leaders pop up; it's that the code is the leader, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
one
that's true.
thing that I've really started to, take to heart. The code is always the leader. This is why you can go and talk to, a white person from the north or a white person from the south, and when they talk, they sound the exact same way because the code is the leader. They pretty much they don't follow. They can't point. You can't point to anyone in white society and say that this is their leader. I mean, you have people like Donald Trump. I mean, but he's the POTUS, and you have people like Richard Spencer. But white people don't openly follow him. The code is the leader. That's why, they all say the same thing, no matter where they are, even across the world. You talk to white people in Europe, they sound like white people over here. We have to have a code that we all follow. That way, if they shoot one of us, it doesn't matter because we're all on the same page. So yeah,
agreed.
Agreed. Yeah. I always tell people in terms of the Black community, you just need to find, like Chris said, you need to find like 20 like-minded Black people and build with them. Because as it is right now, Black people as a majority are way too comfortable, being in a servitude position. We're way too comfortable spending our money with other races as opposed to in our own group. And that's one thing that we were taught, way back during slavery times. We were always taught to have fun, buy drinks, spend it, but never spend it for your own empowerment, never spend it to build your community. I mean, we kind of got out of that when we built Black Wall Street, but ever since then, and since the Black Panthers, we haven't seen anything like that. Ever since integration, actually, where we pretty much equated integration to equality, we haven't seen a major push for like Black economic independence. So
I tell people this.
No, you need to find like 20 like-minded people, definitely invest in some property or some, real estate, and, help each other out, have a circle. That's what white people do. When you get to upper echelon levels of white people, they have circles that you can't even enter, but they take care of each other. So.
I think that's good. That's great when it comes to, like individual type of stuff. But as far as like the whole of us, like sometimes there does have to be somebody who is organizing, like if we're talking about is the whole of black community, can it be saved, or is it worth saving? Like, like there has to be some kind of large movement, in order to save us if we're going to be saved. And there needs to be organized.
If I can just interrupt, a lot of people don't want to be saved. That's the problem. That's one of the main problems we have. So when you try and save someone who doesn't want to be saved, it kind of creates a problem because, okay, let's say you're trying to save a Stacey Dash or you're trying to save a Steve Harvey. These are people who are comfortable in the positions that they're in, so they would rather stay on that side than, come over and help and build the community. So so I'm not saying the majority, but like I said, this is why you have to start small, because as it is right now, you just can't get up and have a large push for Black people to rise up and start to be practice group economics. It's not going to work. What you do is you start with small groups, and then you start to, as you get money and influence and power, then you start to link up with more Black people, right, and start to create programs.
Even if it's a small group, don't you always still need? Because a lot of people will say, you don't need a leader. Maybe we need a lot of leaders, but doesn't there always need to be somebody to organize things? Because if everybody is trying to organize, that's not going to work. There needs to be like a main person within that group, even if it's a small group, that is, the main one that gets things to happen. Everybody else can maybe put their 2 cents in, but there's always going to be like a president.
Right, yeah. You can have an organizer as long as everyone understands the code. So let's say that this guy, gets shot the next day. Someone else, or not even someone else, but everyone understands how to react accordingly. Like, even the leader isn't necessarily a leader. He's an organizer. He's a guy who stepped up to organize the affairs and to get the affairs running smoothly. But everyone has to be on the same page. Like, you can't keep people out of the loop as a leader. Everyone has to be on the same page.
The same accord.
That's why. And that's why, I agree with what Chris said, because he said, he was talking about how there's the leader gets, when something happens to the leader, then, there isn't, or the organizer, Marcus Garvey was pretty much the organizer of his group, and of this movement, then, like, everybody's lost. And even if everybody is on the same page, like, okay, what if everybody has the same, everybody agrees with what the organizer or the leader is saying, but then they don't know, like, everybody may not have the tools to continue on what he's doing. Like, can you, without being like the leader, still, I guess, have the I guess, what am I trying to say? I guess I'm trying to say, like, what happens when that one person, something happens to that one person? Is everybody going to have what it takes to be the leader? And how do you do that? Like, how do you make it so that everybody knows, everybody can just step into the leader's place or step into the organizer's place? I feel like that's something that a leader will not be able to just groom everybody to do. Like, it has to be kind of more of like an intricate kind of system, and that's why you take a certain person to lead, because not everybody is fit to lead or to organize.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that, like, how much sense that made, but yeah, that's why I feel like it's important for there to be one person, and then that person does, though, they need to make sure that they have somebody who can be their backup, and then somebody who can be the backup's backup. Like, I think that this is why the spook who sat by the door, I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but
Yeah,
I
I've heard
recommend
it.
that
I haven't seen it.
That is like one of my favorite movies, because you know how the guy, the main dude, he had organized that guerrilla group, and I think that he made it so that everybody knew the job of the person who was like two steps in front of them. So, like, if you're like the fourth person in charge, and the job of the third person, the second person, this is something happen. Like, that's important. But yeah, it's important to leave, have somebody to follow in your footsteps in case something happens to you. But also, I feel like a lot of the reason why people don't end up, I guess, trying to move out of the same situation, the situation they were in, is because so many guys with Marcus Garvey, he was, deported. We had Tulsa, Oklahoma situation, and Rosewood, and all those things. When black people were trying to do something, it was sabotaged. And so people, I think, have like a kind of a fear a little bit of like succeeding or doing better as a group, because I think maybe people know that there's going to be somebody who's going to try to come behind you and ruin it, or that you could be in danger if you try. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you make some good points, but that's exactly why the code has to be the leader now.
The code is the leader.
Is something
And I
funny
think-
that you want to share with the rest of the class, Chris?
What's the class? Nigga, I'm over here trying to install Sony Vegas, and these
Okay, there
pirates
you
is
go.
something else.
Like I was saying, yeah, this is why the code has to be pretty much the main leader, because when you have a succession line in place, people can be picked off one by one. This is why you have to have, when you have a code as the leader and you internalize it in everyone in that group or everyone in that race, then they're all brought up with pretty much not necessarily the mindset of a leader, but they're brought up with a certain set of, certain, a certain code that they live by. This is why even the poorest, this is why you even had white women who, even with all the crazy stuff Donald Trump was saying, still voted for him. Because even though they knew, because, there has to be repercussions if you go against the code. So they knew that even though he was saying crazy stuff, grabbing pussy and all that, they still understood that as a group, they have to vote for this guy and get him in office because, he's white and he stands for their white code. So with that being said, we have to teach our children and internalize it into them at a young age so that they're not cowardly and they're not afraid to, follow through with the code, even with, with death as a threat and, failure as a threat. So it really starts from a young age. And like I said, you can have a leader line, but like I said, the problem with that is that they can be taken out very easily. You can be infiltrated and they can just pretty much take out your whole line of leaders. But if everyone is on the same page and it's internalized, and if you talk to a black person in the South, he thinks it's the same one as the North, then you're good. You're fine, because, even with Asians, you can't even point to the Asian leader here in the States. You can't point to any. You go to California, that's where they mainly are. You can't even go to Chinatown and point to their leader. They don't have one, but they do have a code that pretty much keeps them in line and makes them vote a certain way, even if they don't. Even if someone doesn't even tell them, they understand what their best interest is as a race. So that's the way they go.
Right.
So, yeah. We're only a few people, not even a few. Like I said, we have to start small and then build up. Because a massive push right now to organize black people, it just wouldn't work. Not in this climate and not at this time.
Yeah, because there's this guy that's trying to get this liberation group started, and he thinks we can do it within a year's time. He came to me and he was like, okay, here's what we need to do, but we need to do it within a year's time. I want you to get economically established so we can practice group economics. Yet we don't have any independent black owned sponsors to sponsor the liberation groups. We don't have any, like, for us to go out to Atlanta and perform lectures, for recruitment, all types of things. We don't have these things yet. Who's going to fund us? Who's going to support us? Who's going to provide transportation? And he was like, we have to do it all on our own. Now it's like, how is this going to work on our incomes alone? We can't create multiple streams of income and expect to have all this done in a year. It's impossible to bring black people in on such a massive scale. It just wouldn't work.
All right. Well, I think that rounds that off. Next topic, because this next topic is kind of confusing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. What is this one about?
Legal pimping.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah. Explain.
So, I mean, we already, made the case for legalization of prostitution. But, what about the legalization of pimping? Should pimping be legalized in the community? Should we have pimping licenses?
I don't get why prostitutes even have pimps. Like, why can't they just manage themselves?
Because not every prostitute can manage themselves. Their job is to look pretty and take whatever they're paid to take. Not all of them are about to be all like, oh yeah, I'm a prostitute, but I have a degree in the Chicago School of Economics and I have a minor in the Austin School of Economics. So, my credit score is great and I'm about to buy a boat. Like, no, like I think I've met one smart prostitute. She was really cool though. But, who's going to be there to lead them? I don't want the state to lead them. So so should we privatize prostitution with legal pimping?
That's a question for one of y'all. Iman,
You know what?
Jerry.
On this one, you might have to get back on me because this one is just I don't know where you.
Yeah,
pull
I'm
this
kind of
one from.
lost. I'm lost.
I mean, I
Even-
think
It's just so far out.
I mean, it's way too far out of my reach. At least right about now it is.
why are you so concerned about pimping and prostitution, Chris?
Yeah, Chris, what's up?
Yeah.
And
What
where'd
do
you
you
meet
mean?
that prostitute?
Where the red line?
Oh, I thought you met her in Inglewood somewhere.
Man, I don't go to Inglewood. Yeah, I met her on the red line. She was real cool. We had a casual conversation. Okay, good. This topic is short, unlike the last. Okay, so political talk. So if y'all haven't noticed, there's been deportation raids all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about that? That our amigos and cholos are being sent back to their rightful place.
I'm gonna tell you what Tyreek told the others.
Here we go.
Hold your own nuts.
There we
Hold
go.
your nut sack.
There we go.
Want me to tell you why I'm gonna say that? Because when things are going on with black people, they're never around to help us. But when something always happens to the Latinos, the Hispanics, all of a sudden we're all in this together. Like, hey, me friend, we got to help each other out. No. Hold your own nut sack. Hold your own nuts. It's not our problem. It's business. It's nothing personal, just strictly business. That's how I feel.
Yeah, yeah, they'll be all right. I think they'll be all right.
So in terms of that, I just want to say, hold your own nuts. That is all.
Well, with the deportation raids,
Because you have to remember that. Yeah, you have to remember that. I believe it was, what was it? 29% of Latinos voted for Trump, and I forgot I forgot what percentage of that was males. It was like 50. No, it was like something. I gotta find the statistics, but 29% of them voted for Trump, and a lot of them don't even see themselves as black or of color. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have white. I know you have white Latinos and you have Afro Latinos, but a lot of them don't realize that in the eyes of white society, you're not white. So, yeah, the myth. I like that Tariq mentioned or covered the myth of the Black-Brown Alliance because there is none. So as they get deported, I don't see them. They don't come out and march for us. They don't cape for us. They don't. They're not taking bullets and, they're not out there campaigning for us. So everybody from now on needs to take care of themselves. We don't even need to worry about them. We have bigger problems.
Right. And then when you look back at the history of things, Latinos and Hispanics stayed out of all of our movements and waited on the sideline. Once that civil rights bill was reaped, they didn't come out claiming that they were people of color. They came out claiming themselves as minorities. So that shows you that we have no allies. I mean, look at what we've been doing for the Hispanics for history. We protected them. We helped fight. We fought their battles, and we didn't get anything in return.
Yep. So from now on, from 2017 onwards, hold your own nuts. Next
Yep.
topic.
okay. So as y'all know, the Betsy DeVosto, I don't know how to say her name. She's been put in as I think she's the head of the Department of Education.
My opinion on that is, look, if you guys think everyone that Trump has hired is pretty much incompetent, and if you think that Bush's No Child Left Behind Act had an adverse effect on children, man, this lady doesn't know. She's pretty much so incompetent. And this is what I was asking Chris, if this is the same lady who was getting scolded by one of the House reps because she didn't know the difference between he was asking her a question and she didn't know, she was answering in the wrong fashion, like she didn't know how to answer it correctly. So I mean, if this is really going to be the person who's in charge of education, we're in trouble. And the country as a whole is in trouble. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So
that's her.
The country
as a whole is
in trouble. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like every other Trump person that Trump has hired or put into a position of power, they're incompetent. So I don't expect too much.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, I haven't really done any research on her, so I don't really know much about her. So I feel like I did see something like something that somebody posted on Facebook saying that she had something to do with, was it Detroit? Education in Detroit or someplace. They said wherever she had came from, she had made things worse. Whatever town she came from. But I really don't know much about her to really speak on it. But I did see that video where she was trying to get into that middle school and they wouldn't let her. So she kind of just like turned around and left. That's kind of funny.
Let me go ahead and put in my 2 cents. So I graduated from a charter school. You know, she's pro charter school and private school, and she wants to get rid of Common Core, and I'm so okay with that. I hated Common Core, and she wants to get rid of the Department of Education. She wants to get rid of her own job.
She's an idiot.
No. You don't understand. The black people were screwed over with the Department of Education in so many ways.
Oh yeah, then you have a point. I see where you're going.
It disproportionately targeted black schools and messed them up so you could funnel them into white schools. Like, so many schools have been like just closed under the watch of the Department of Education. A lot of them have been schools of, black people. So
I'm back.
Okay, he's back. So, and another thing about it is that statistically speaking, black people do better under charter schools. In fact, I'm pro charter school because you can make there are plenty of Afrocentric charter schools because you get to set your own curriculum. Mm-hmm. So black people could really benefit from having charter schools. A lot of them do. There's so many black charter schools in Chicago. I graduated from a black charter school. It was trash though. But at the same time, there's a dark side. Charter schools. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but there's a video going around. It goes around so much of how like, oh no, there's this school in Chicago, and there's a school in Chicago and has like it's a 100% graduation rate, and they all got accepted into college. People don't. That school is called Urban Prep, and I used to fight them. They are terrible kids and people. And they used to fight with so many different charter schools like Perspectives and Bogan and Wendell Phillips. Like, it was terrible. Like I mean, like, kids will get jumped. I remember I was on some friends of mine were under investigation because it started, one of the Urban Prep kids jumped one of our students, but then supposedly one of our students jumped an Urban Prep kid and like beat him half to death with an aluminum bat. And so, like, even though like none of us did it, but we weren't mad that it happened. But these charter schools, they're really sketchy. They have this thing here called IEP, which is essentially a special ed program, and I didn't like it because it essentially let the special ed kids be in the regular curriculum classrooms, and then make them seem like that they're learning from the regular curriculum, but in reality they could get a test and like put like 2 + 2 is 746 and they would still pass. Like, they were given grades, they were assigned grades based on their quote unquote effort. And another thing about it is that you didn't have to be like chicken wing armed and just to be in IEP, you literally could just have trouble spelling, or you might not see that well. Like, you could just get shoved in there, and then you don't have to do anything for your entire high school career, because they're going to assign you these grades. And a lot of people love it, like, oh man, I don't have to do anything, I'm just going to pass high school no matter what. But I don't like it because, one, it's kind of unfair to have the kids whose only problem is that they really can't hear that well get assigned A's and B's, to where there's kids who don't have anything wrong with them, but they're just normal, and they have to work and get their grades. And I also feel like if you don't have a learning disability, a serious one, then you shouldn't have been in IEP, because not only does it look bad to the rest of the kids, but it looks bad to you, because you're being limited to what you can do. It's not fair to you because you're not getting the same experience and work and time, and you're just going to be put out into the world legitimately handicapped because you don't know anything. And
right.
Another thing with charter schools, and I don't know if they do this nationally. Like I didn't see this until like I was a senior in high school here in Chicago. Was that like I've never heard of this before. But basically, if you're not on track to graduate by midterm or I forgot what they call it, but like I always call it midterm, but the middle of the year. If you're not set to graduate by the middle of the year, they will kick you out the school. You will either have to withdraw from the school, drop out, or they will kick you out. And they don't care where you go. So,
Damn,
and I always thought this was crazy, because I'm like, they have half a year to get back on track. You're just gonna drop them? And not only did my school do this, but Urban Prep, the school that said they have a 100% graduation rate, they have a 100% graduation rate because they kick out the kids that aren't going to graduate. And
Ooh.
then this whole like thing where they talk about like, hey, 100% of our kids went to college. Okay, so first of all, to graduate, you have to apply and get accepted into at least 10 colleges. If you just get accepted into 9, you will be kicked out. You will not graduate. I've seen this with my eyes. It's terrible. And another thing about it is that when you look at these statistics for these schools, the college retention rate among a lot of these inner city charter schools is that 100% of them do get their freshman year, but only like 10 to 21% of them actually make it to sophomore year. So really it's only like 10 to 20% of them actually get to college. And then that doesn't even talk about the ones that drop out going from sophomore to junior and junior to senior. So it could be just like 2% of the kids actually made it. So there's really ups and downs.
Memes are always so misleading.
Yeah.
And they pretty much lied about it.
And so
Yeah.
the whole thing about these charter schools, that I support charter schools, but I support charter schools that are ran properly and don't have this extra shady stuff going on. Because they're trying to get all this grant money. I know the charter school I went to, Perspectives Math and Science Academy. First of all, the school didn't even have like air. It had a boiler from the 60s. And if y'all know anything about Chicago weather, it's sometimes nice, but a majority of the time it's either super cold or super hot. And so when school was starting out, like they told us, hey, bring a fan to school because we have no air. And I'm like, really? And it took me 3 weeks to buy a fan. I got a fan. My fan is on right now. Like I love this fan. This fan saved my life. But then when winter came around, do y'all know this boiler decided to not work? And do y'all know how expensive it is to switch it? First of all, to buy a boiler, because who has a boiler anymore? And then to have it lifted out the ground and put it, like, they were not about to replace the boiler. So we went through summer or the hot months, super hot, but I had my fan. But then when winter came, first of all, a majority of the windows didn't even have glass. They were made out of plastic. So, it was cold. So
You couldn't bring your heat up?
What school did you go to, Chris? Struggle Academy?
Perspectives Math Science Academy, Bronzeville.
Oh.
And, you know, the crazy thing about
My
it is
God,
that
window was made out of plastic.
the school itself, I call charter schools parasites because that's basically what they are. They take over the body of dead schools. And the school that used to be there, ironically enough, I had family that went there. I mean, before it was Perspectives, was it was called Raymond. And like the school Raymond was built because I live where the Robert Taylor Homes used to be. And if you don't know, the Robert Taylor Homes is like arguably the most famous project complex ever. It was huge. And Raymond was built so all the black kids that live in the Robert Taylor Homes didn't spill out to the surrounding areas. So they're like I call them spillover schools to keep the blacks in that one centralized area so they wouldn't go to other nicer schools that might just be a little, you know, across the highway. So
Isn't that called redlining?
sure, yeah, you know, I mean, the biggest highway in Chicago, the Dan Ryan, was literally built to segregate blacks and whites, and it was also built to get whites from the suburbs to downtown Chicago.
Right.
So yeah, Chicago's famous
Right.
for redlining. In fact, it's funny because that same highway, the L line or the commuter train that's on that highway is called the Red Line. And so yeah, Betsy, you know, I really like a lot of stuff Trump does, but there's always a white supremacist undertone to it that makes me be apprehensive about it, and that really bothers me. But so next topic, I guess.
Okay.
This is the last topic, and this is going to be short. Why is Hillary trying to run again in the next 4 years?
She said she
Well,
wants to run.
I don't think she's gonna be alive.
Reports.
Is she going to be dust in 4 years?
I mean, Bernie's
She already
still
looks
here.
like Mum Ra from Thundercats. Why is she still around? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Gonna make it, but I mean, she can try.
She's gonna make it. She's gonna sneeze and die.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, she's
like,
gonna have to.
Yeah.
If she runs,
She kept fainting, and remember, like,
she kept
It
having
has to-
seizures.
yeah, like she couldn't even. She was like halfway dead already when she was running. So I don't know if she's gonna make it, but if she does, I'm still not gonna vote for her.
dude,
Nothing
if she runs for president, her vice president is gonna have to be like her nurse, because there's no way she's gonna be able to come out in
It's
4
gonna be
years by
Octavia
herself.
Carson.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. She just needs to accept the fact that she lost. That's all it is. And you know,
Exactly.
it's funny how she can't take responsibility. She blamed everyone but herself. She blamed the FBI. She blamed the media. She blamed voters. She blamed everybody but herself.
With Hillary and Bill, I just, I feel like Bill doesn't care. Like, I don't think he's supportive. Like, when I see this dude, he's always looking at somebody's ass or like he looks dazed. He just
Yeah,
looks like,
he looks really dazed. That's a good point.
Yo.
It's like
He looks like
always
he's confused. No, it's like I don't know if he's developing Alzheimer's or something, but he looks really forgetful and confused, and
This man's
like he's starting to like show
I don't
signs.
think he really likes her that much, but they're probably political partners or something. But he definitely doesn't seem like he really likes her.
they were,
At this point in his life, it's just cheaper to keep her. He might-
that relationship exists to make money. That's
Yeah.
really good.
yeah,
Hillary
Yeah.
was
And
never
it makes it
mad.
and it makes it more
Yeah.
and it makes it
Yeah.
more disturbing when you find out that they're cousins.
what?
There's like a conspiracy about that. Them being
Oh.
related.
Oh, come on. The Illuminati, the Bilderbergers,
No.
to run through it.
No.
Oh.
That I kind of assumed that on my own presumption, but I was wrong.
All right. Well, that just about wraps up this podcast. And until next time, we'll be off in the cut.